live! Yay!
I don't think anyone's here yet, but we are live.
Oh, we are.
Oh, I just got a notification.
Woohoo! I got a notification that says "Hello, friends" from Emma, and Ryan says "Hello, Emma."
I wouldn't.
Hi, friends. We are here for the BiblioBook Club discussion for. Does anyone actually have the physical copy of this book, or did we all read it?
Oh, I don't have it because I read it on a library book.
I did too. So welcome to our live show for The Seafarer's Kiss by Julia Ember. I hope you guys who are watching have read it and enjoyed it. We have a couple of hosts that aren't here today, but we are still excited to discuss it with y'all.
Yes.
Does everyone want to introduce themselves, go down the line, and say their initial thoughts on the book?
Yeah, sure. I've got Emma, Catriona, Brittni, and then me.
Okay. Hi, I'm Emma from Emma Books. And I definitely enjoyed my time reading The Seafarer's Kiss. I ended up giving it 3 stars because I thought that there were like a lot of perks. Like the parts I liked about the story, I really, really liked. But then I definitely have like significant critiques on it. And things
Sorry, I didn't do much on that one.
are kind of problematic, but we can discuss them. But overall, I think it was fun and cute. But I think that there were some like problems with it.
Agree. Yeah, I felt the same, and there were a couple of things that I did take issue with, but it was still fun. And aside from that, I did not hear what you just said.
I said, introduce yourself.
Oh, I'm Katrina. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I also felt like it could have been expanded a bit more. There were some things that were just kind of like we just breezed through some of the action scenes. It was like, what? Yeah. It's over already. Like, where's the meat of it? So. Yeah, but overall I did like it. It was fun.
Mm-hmm. I think we feel the same.
What about you, Brittni?
Oh, it's me? Oh,
yeah.
Hi. Okay, hi guys. I'm Brittni from Brittni's Book Find, and I rated The Seafarer. Kassie, don't love it.
Brittni's dying.
Brittni had a couple of drinks before our live show, and so she's a little gigglier than normal, but we love it. So no one be mean to her.
I was laughing because I saw like Kassie in the big picture smiling and smirking. It made me laugh. I rated The Seafarer's Kiss 4 out of 5 stars. I really, really enjoyed this book. I loved part 1 of The Seafarer's Kiss, but I found part 2 just kind of went super quick, super rushed, and like certain things and certain elements of the book that happened, I was like, that is very unnecessary. And I don't know, like part 1 was awesome. Part 2 just kind of shocked me, and I felt it could be expanded. Certain things happened that I felt were unacceptable, really, in a way. Like I felt like they just were like placed and didn't make sense. So in that case, surprisingly, I did rate it 4 out of 5 stars, but I found I really enjoyed the read. I just wish that it was expanded on. Certain things were taken out. And overall, I really enjoyed the book, though. I really, really did. Yes.
Kassie?
I'm Kassie from Miss Sassy Kassie, and I rated it a 4 out of 5 stars, too. I think we're all going to have the same complaint of the fact that it should have been more, like, delved into, more expanded. Like, it felt really rushed, especially the second half, but even the first half. So I remember the name of the character. I'm going to try to do this non-spoilery because we haven't announced spoilers yet. But, like, the name of the character, originally I was thinking that, like, oh, we're going to get some things out of that name. And then, we got all the way to most of the book. And then finally we do get that. But, like, it took too long for the, like, tiny amount of pages that we had, I felt. And then, like, it just, all of the things that happened, it felt like we were just, like, told about them and we didn't get to see them happen. I felt like that a lot.
Yeah.
But it was, like, so enjoyable at the same time. Like, I loved that it was a bisexual read. I loved that, like, I loved that it was the mermaid and human relationship that, like, is, like, very, like, traditional almost. And then it's just kind of, like, ripped apart at the same time. And I liked it a lot at the same time. So that was weird.
Do we want to like jump right into spoilers?
Yeah, I think so. It's too short of a book to do this.
That's very true. Very true. So if you haven't read The Seafarer's Kiss, you might want to pop out of here, go read it, and then you can come back and watch and leave your thoughts. So bye non-spoiler people, and let's get to discussing, because I'm like actually like really excited to discuss.
Yeah, I was so like I remember being very excited for this book, like from the moment that I started seeing it pop up on BookTube with, I think like Trina got an arc of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was really excited from the very beginning.
Is that between chapters?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had a good review on this book.
Her review is so good. I linked it in my review, and I think Kaz linked it too.
I think you did the same thing.
So if you guys watching have any questions, you can definitely send them to us using @BIBLIOBOOK on Twitter, or else you can just use the live chat that's going to be right next to where you're watching. One question I have that I want to start with the discussion is, what did you guys think of it as a Little Mermaid retelling?
I thought it was interesting. Like, it kind of takes some of the elements of The Little Mermaid and like puts it on his head. Like, you know how she ends up getting like the octopus tentacles rather than just like having her voice taken. Like, it kind of twists a few things around, which I thought was interesting. Definitely.
Yeah.
Wasn't what I was expecting at all.
Has anybody read the original?
No.
Okay, so I haven't either, so like I don't know what I know that the original fairy tale is way darker than like the Disney version. But I was surprised that she chose to make the Little Mermaid character also the Ursula character.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if
what-
that's how it is though in the book. Like I mean,
Well,
the
that's
original.
why I'm confused on, because I know the fact, like, we all know that was the point where we're like, holy shit, what happened? And I know, like, Kelly from Kelly Bookspell, she was like, oh, this is an Ursula retelling, like, in her stuff. And I was like, oh, wait, but is that a spoiler? Like, are we supposed to know? Like, is this Ursula?
Her name is
this Little
Ursi.
Mermaid?
Like, I had a feeling that it was going to be an Ursi. Like, her name is Ursi.
Yeah.
That's what I was talking about in the very beginning. I was like, her name is Ursi. So, like, are we going to get some Ursula shit in here? Like,
That's
is that
what
what this
I
really
thought.
is? And
That's
then
what I
it, like,
thought.
it kind of was, but it also, like,
Wasn't.
I'm confused.
I didn't connect the dots with the name,
Oh,
to be
really?
honest.
Oh, I
I
did.
didn't either until it happened. I was like, oh, like that makes so much sense.
Oh,
I
yeah.
did.
Like,
I did.
the second they
From the
named
beginning.
her, I was like, holy shit, what are we reading?
Well, that's the thing is, like, I heard, like, Ursel, or whatever it was.
Ursula, yeah.
And I was like, is she Ursula, or is she supposed to be in this whole time? I was like, no, she's Ariel,
She's a mermaid.
right?
But
And then
there's
when it happened, I was like, oh, this is an Ursula retelling. And so I
Kinda
had
blame
a hint, but until that moment happened, I was like, oh, this is legit like an Ursula retelling, but is it really? Like,
well, I know that there's a. I don't know if this is canon.
How are you not dead?
Sorry. I'm well, okay. Sorry. Matt's gaming behind me. But I know that there is at least a theory, if it's not canon, that
You are so
oh my
lucky.
god. I'm gonna move. Hold on. I have to
So what did you
be
think,
moved.
Emma?
Okay. So
I'm gonna
I
let Kassie finish and then I'll share my thoughts.
Yeah.
here we go. I didn't. Okay, there's a theory if it's not canon. I'm not sure which. Sorry, I'm turning on lights as I talk. But that Ursula was a mermaid before she got turned into this like octopus thing, and that she was either like King Triton's sibling or King Triton's wife. Like that's a theory out there, and I don't know if it's canon, but that's real. That's
So I had also gone into it thinking it was a Little Mermaid retelling. Like, I thought it was supposed to be the story of Little Mermaid, but instead of falling in love with Eric, like, it would be like a girl. And I thought that was like the point of it. And I personally felt that this wasn't like a great retelling, because I felt like it was so disconnected from the Little Mermaid story. Like, maybe I have high expectations for retellings, but like, I don't think, had anyone told me that this, like, not told me that it wasn't a Little Mermaid retelling, I don't know if I would have made the connection myself, because like the storyline wasn't similar. And then we found out that it was Ursula. Like, I thought the transformation of her from a mermaid to an octopus was so great. I was like, oh my god, wait, this is like Ursula's backstory. Like I was expecting it to be like a heartless route, and we would like follow the story of Ursula before she meets Ariel.
Right. And then get to see her turn evil, basically. That's what I was hoping for.
I was expecting like Ragna to die in the end, or something to happen where like this would be the reason that Ursula was so evil, and that's why she wanted to, take Ariel's voice or whatever. Yeah. So I originally thought that that's what the storyline was, but even that wasn't involved in it either. Like I thought it would have been really interesting to be like a prequel story to The Little Mermaid, but like the only thing that was similar, in my opinion, at least to the Disney like story, that's the only one I know, was that it was like about mermaids and Ursula. Like I didn't see too many other similarities that are present in like other retellings. And someone pointed out to me that like you need to buy the rights from Disney to write a retelling. Like Heartless is probably my favorite retelling of Alice in Wonderland, and Marissa Meyer had to like get permission from Disney to incorporate all of the details. Other authors can't do that. So like I can rationalize the fact that it wasn't super connected, but I also was like, if it wasn't super connected and we didn't get to see like a lot of the same characters that we've got to know and love, like I would have liked a little bit more that like was closer related to the story.
I do have to say though that it is way more similar to the creepy Little Mermaid retelling. Like in the creepy mermaid retelling, in the creepy mermaid, she doesn't fall in love with Eric. I'm pretty sure she gets stolen by Eric and he rapes her, and then she gets put back into the sea. Like I'm pretty sure it's not a love story, if I remember correctly. Yeah. I'm pretty sure he's the villain. He's like villain number 2 out of Ursula and him. Like I'm pretty sure that it's like that's not it either. Yeah, it's a fucking is it Grimm's brother or Hans Christian?
I think it's Hans Christian Andersen because I've read all the Grimm's ones.
Yeah, I think so.
Because the thing is, like, for me, is I actually felt the Little Mermaid retellings. Like, the whole time I was like, oh, this is so accurate. Like, so, like, I could feel the Little Mermaid retellings. Like, I don't know why. I just felt like it was a Little Mermaid retelling for me.
Yeah.
Like, little pieces that would come in.
I've seen a lot of other reviews that have said the same, that it's like their favorite Little Mermaid retelling. And, like, I understand, like, it's probably just, like, my personal desire when I go into retelling, because like what I look for is like that similarity but the twisting on the original story, and I didn't see that, but I can like I understand like I might be the odd one out just because of my personal preference. Like I've seen a lot of
and you know what's really funny about that too, Emma, is when we did our Heartless live show, I was the one that couldn't connect with Heartless.
That's so funny.
I was like, I hate this retelling. Like, I don't like this. And then this one, I'm like, oh, I love this. So it's really interesting to see like the two sides of that, which I think is really fascinating.
So interesting.
Right? Yeah. What about you, Catriona? What are you thinking?
Sorry, I was just looking up to see if it was a Hans Christian Andersen one.
Yeah.
I was like, is this a short enough one that I can just skim through and get the gist, but it's a bit too long.
I think it for sure is Hans Christian Andersen, right? Okay. I was like, wait. Yeah. So what did you guys think about like her and Ragna? And like Ragna is also kind of a Ragnar Lothbrok retelling historically.
What's that?
Ragnar Lothbrok is like the most famous Viking out there, but he's a man.
That's what the Viking thing was.
Oh yeah, that's what that is.
Like so many people had it was a Little Mermaid retelling, and it was inspired by Norse mythology, and it was a Viking story, and I was like, there's so much, like, and I didn't feel any of it, but I didn't know that was similar. Like, I thought that it was just supposed, like, the only relevance to the Viking thing was, like, the ships. So that's more interesting knowing that.
Ragnar Lothbrok is, like, supposedly the only Viking to have gone as far as he did, like, sailing-wise. He's the one who, like, made the Vikings move, like, sail west. He's the, like, historically supposed to be the one who sailed to Paris and like all of them first, and he's the one who like began the raids that the Vikings did on Europe.
So fascinating. I wish I had known that reading this book.
You should all watch Vikings on the History Channel. It's a great historical fiction TV show. I mean, it's made by the History Channel, so like don't expect greatness, but like it is really great.
That's so interesting.
I didn't know that at all.
Me either. Oh, that's so good to know, though.
Ragna. And what was that name, Cassie? Ragna.
The real name is Ragnar Lothbrok, Loth Brook.
Wow. Okay. Well, that makes a lot of sense.
That makes everything seem way more connected because I was like, I just don't understand. But,
Yeah.
That's really interesting, though. So you said, what did you think about Ragna and Ursula's relationship?
Yeah.
I loved the beginning.
Yeah.
Like when they first met and when Ursula brought her the food and Ragna was explaining the human stuff, I was living. It was so cute and fluffy and romantic, and I loved it. And then when the other mermaid, who I don't think I can pronounce his name, the one that was like in love with her.
Yeah.
I don't remember his
When
name.
he came and took her away, I was like, this is crazy. And then I was disappointed because Ragna isn't in like half the book. Like whole little, like everyone was selling this to me as like this great Little Mermaid, like that had two girls as the main characters. I was like, she's not even in most of this book. Ending was just like different, and like when they punch each other, like I was so unnecessary, and they don't address it at all.
Yeah.
Wait, they punched each other? I don't remember this.
What?
Yes, they punched each other. It was like
In the ship?
It wasn't like a little slap or a little punch. It was like pretty damn aggressive. Like they were like
Oh,
arguing.
I do remember that.
was bleeding, and like
But why do they punch each other? Isn't there what's the reason behind it?
It was something really trivial. I just remember that. I can't remember what it was. Like,
why? Ragna called her a coward or something.
Yeah.
And so then she punches Ragna, and then Ragna punches her back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, don't address it. Like it's like Ragna only feels bad because Ursula is bleeding, but they don't say I'm sorry for punching you or like again, like they don't address it. And then later, like when they're about to separate, when like Ursula's going to go like fight the patriarch or whatever, she bites Ragna and is like saving this, like, so now like you owe me or something like that. Like, and it's like they made a joke of the violence, and I was like, this is so unhealthy.
Yeah.
Imagine if that was a male and a female, everyone would be livid. Like,
Well, and there is like violence between Ursula and the dude. I can't remember his name, but the male mermaid too. Like he's also fucking crazy and controlling and weird at the end.
really like possessive and
Yeah, and he like threatens her basically in order for him to pick him.
Yeah.
So like
No.
if the feeling of the relationship in the beginning had persisted, I would have been so happy with it. But there was such a twist in like their relationship in the end that it was like, this is really like toxic, and I'm not okay with it.
Yeah.
I think like the second half like totally just took this weird spin that was unnecessary. And like you said, Emma, I think it would have been really cool to see like Ragna when she went back home, and like remember she said she was like trying to get a boat to come back and like really understand like the struggles she went through to get back to Ursula. Like that I think would have been like way cooler rather than like all of a sudden I reappear and then we fight and punch each other. Like, you know, like
It's just perspective would have been interesting.
so
But yeah.
random. Like,
And it could have
I was like,
possibly given more like more of like the shit that has gone down in both of their lives, so that we could get this like moment of like we both messed up and they punch each other, and like it could maybe make more sense with also an apology at the end. Like obviously that would be necessary for that to be okay, but like you could potentially like flesh that out some more, I guess is what I'm saying.
exactly like it would have added more depth to Ragna's character, because she's just kind of like this like little fantasy, like I don't know, you can see so much of
Pixie dream girl, but a Viking.
and I would have actually loved if this was dual perspective. We'd get more more of her struggles rather than her coming back to Ursula and just like having what happened just recounted and being told to us. So
We could have even gotten some perspective from the male merman, because we also spend like months with Ursula, which is done in like 6 pages, when she just turns into a octopus woman, and they are all dealing with all of the stuff that's going down. Like they're finding out about the the other girl, the one that the king is hiding, and like all that stuff. So
Yeah. Like, do you guys feel like this could have been like a duology?
definitely.
For sure, they needed like it's a really short book, and like so I feel like so much of the story would have benefited if there was more of it. Like I think everything just wrapped up so quickly, and also in like a pretty little bow. Like I couldn't find any like long-lasting problems that would exist after it.
Yeah.
I like fantasies that like still have problems because like nothing like there's no way that's just gonna be like the real princess is just gonna take over and like everything's gonna be happy and they're gonna live happily ever after. But
Yeah.
an expansion on the Norse mythology, an expansion on how it's related to the Little Mermaid, an expansion on the Viking storyline. Like I feel like everything would have been so much better if there was more development to all of it, but it was like all crammed into one short like 200 something page book, and it was like I think that fact of it like just not being long enough, like the execution suffered as a result.
Yeah.
Really interestingly, the author explained how this was originally a short story, and then she was like told by people who read it to expand it into the novel that it is. I'm just like, I can't imagine it being any shorter. Like,
No.
like I can't picture how it would have, like, what the short story would have.
Unless
Like,
like just part 1 or part 2 was written and then she added to it. That's the only way I can.
Which honestly makes a lot of sense because the first part feels like
It feels more
almost a like good little like beginning,
Yeah.
middle, and end with an arc and everything, and then it kind of just like begins again and doesn't really get the whole
Yeah.
arc. I did hear somewhere, but maybe I made this up. But I think she might have done some edits to the book since like what we even got like as a final copy.
really.
So I thought I heard that because she got a lot of complaints about the violence. I think she might have done some edits on it, but I'm not sure because, you know, BookTube and Twitter, we go so fast. Sometimes I maybe am getting a book confused with another.
No, I get that. Also, can I just say one thing about the relationship? Was anyone else severely uncomfortable about the like tentacle porn part, or was that just?
The tentacle what?
What it felt like, though, is like a little bit creepier version of the Rhysand's wings. That's how I felt. But, like, I love Rhysand's wings, but also...
I hate octopi anyway, so just like having that, I was like,
yeah, like, I didn't like it because I don't like octopus things. Octopus things freak me
Yeah.
It was
out.
just like the way it was like I ran my tentacles over every inch of her body, and she I was like,
run. I
What
would
is
run
that?
to the TV
Yes,
and jump into the freezing ocean.
there's some like joke somewhere out there where there's some like tentacle thing that like runs at you. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's like a fake scary something or other. I don't know what I'm talking about either, so it's
Kassie.
fine. What? It's a thing somewhere on the internet. It's probably a meme that I can't
Well,
remember off the top
You
of my
know,
head.
some people like tentacle stuff. So that's I'm
In
telling you, it's true. It's gross. Yeah, no. It was really uncomfortable.
I also kind of wish that she wasn't given the ability to switch between human mermaid and tentacle.
yeah.
Was turned into, like when she was turned into having the tentacles, I was like, oh, okay, here we go, Ursula. And I kind of wish that she really ran with that idea rather than Loki granting her this gift after all the shit like manipulation. And I don't know, it just felt so convenient, like way too convenient.
Yeah, like I want to talk about the Loki stuff in general too because like so fascinating. But I felt like he wasn't he was pretty tricky, but like he still was too nice. I just, like every time he gave her something that she had a problem with or like that was hard or whatever, she was very easily able to like get around it and like loophole it. And it felt too easy.
There was also a lot of controversy around Loki being gender fluid. I don't know if you guys.
Oh, I saw that, but I really liked it. She never names he or she. She always calls them they.
The problem is that, like, because I mean, you know, there's always a lot of people that like jump at saying like using marginalizations as the villain is like automatically problematic. But the problem that I found when reading this person's review, it was from a trans reviewer, is that Loki was the trickster, and that feeds into the stereotype that when trans people are in relationships and they don't reveal that they are trans, like that your partner is entitled to know this past about you, that you're tricking them, that you're lying, that you're like tricking them, falling in love with you, and like that's what the problem was. And the reviewer was like, had it been a different god, like had it been the god of fire or war or anything, it would have been fine. It was like that was like the problem, and I was like,
that makes sense.
got me there. Like
I get it.
That critique.
It sucks because like I love villains, so anytime I see like anything like bisexuality in villains and all that shit, I'm just
it's like you enjoy
living.
it.
Yeah.
But like I'm not, definitely got lots of privilege too, so you know.
Yeah, no, I feel what you're saying. I thought that because like when people were like, this is problematic for using they them pronouns, I'm like, I mean, like, you know, that's up for trans reviewers to decide. Like, I don't get a say in that. Like, for all we know, might just be like actual good representation. But when they pointed out that like that's like a harmful trans stereotype and they converted trans to, I was like,
yeah, that makes sense.
I think
like,
it was
literally
like,
using
good. I think it was a good idea. Like, I think there should be more gender fluid characters that use they them pronouns.
Yeah.
That was great. It was a good effort.
Yeah, like I do have to say that even though like I understand like the character she chose was probably not the best, and like good thing for people being able to point it out and blah blah blah, but like also I think she did do a good job of like creating a gender fluid or like gender neutral character. Like even though she probably like based on other people's opinions maybe should have chosen a different person to be that gender fluid person, I still think it was like a great job of making one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like they were always described as being androgynous, and they always took different forms. You know, and I mean,
even in the different forms, they.
But like, you know, like they. Yeah. There was an effort made there to make the distinction that people don't have to lean one way or the other.
Yeah. And even when they do perform, I think Catriona was trying to say this, but even when they do show up as a male or a female, they still are called they at all times. Like, I thought that was really fascinating. It actually threw me off for a minute, and then I was like, oh, I remember hearing about the fact that there was a gender-neutral character in this book, and I forgot. And so, like, this is interesting, and it was interesting to read. But I want to talk about Loki in general. Like, how did you guys feel about the Loki?
Does anyone want to go first?
I guess we kind of touched upon it as well, but I do think it was a little too easy for her to find loopholes. Like being the god, like the trickster god, you think he would have had some forethought because he had just tricked her and found loopholes in what she was saying. So you would have thought that he would have been more clever in kind of the deal that he made. It made. Yeah,
or they. Yeah,
they. Oh god.
You're okay. You're doing great.
Oh my gosh. I just keep Loki is like the Loki god that I already know.
I felt like he was pretty good, like with his tricks, like especially at first, like again, like the first part, like I was like, oh man, like he's just killing it. And then the second part again, like it was just so disjointed, you know, like so now like thinking back, like that this was like a short story to start. Like I wonder if it was part one that was her story, because when I get into all these thoughts, I'm like, it just kind of goes to like, okay, well, I'm just going to expand it and plot these in. And like, it became really easy with Loki. Like you said, like so many easy outs with it.
Yeah.
Go
ahead.
I was going to say, I think that the plot of like Ursula trying to outwit Loki after she got screwed over so bad the first time, I thought that was so interesting. Like I was so happy that like we got a second chance for like Ursula to make things right, and she went into it with more logic. And I really liked the ending when she was like, I told you I would bring you these voices. I didn't tell you I would give them to you. Like, yeah, it was interesting to me, but I do wish there was like more to it, like how like she needs a creature's voice. And the creature is like, I want to die, so she kills the creature, and then she gets the voice. I'm like, I would have liked like more of a struggle here. Like I feel like so much of her like being depressed and like feeling like an outcast, which are all valid feelings. but I feel like there was so much of that, and there wasn't enough of like the whole like being tricked by Loki sort of deal. Like I think like that should have been the big part of the story, and I feel like it played such a minor part.
Yeah,
Right.
this book like stayed and hung out in all of the non-action sections.
Yeah.
Like that was our main story. And like those parts are all great. Like it's not that I wish those were shorter. It's that I wish the action and like the doing parts were bigger. Not, you know what I mean? Like I felt like we spent a good amount, like a positive amount of time in those like non-moving sections. Like I just want the book should have been longer is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What did you guys think about the girl, the mermaid, the other one? The
one that was like
the
ended
nemesis?
up being infertile.
Yeah, her. And her didn't she die at the end because of the fighting?
So hard, that girl.
Yeah, like, and also I was annoyed that we literally were just told about it. Like, I wanted to fucking see it. This is what I'm talking about. We did a lot of telling and not a lot of doing.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is, I actually thought when I was reading it, I thought when she like took her voice, I was like, oh, she's Ariel. Like, did anyone else see that?
Like maybe that was her.
Points too. I thought that was that she was supposed to represent Ariel, but like there was so little development that like I didn't see enough of it.
Yeah,
and then
was
she died. So then I was like, oh, well then no, because then Ursula just was created and then Ariel dies. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But I thought that's what it was by taking her voice, right? But then also Ariel was like someone that was so adventurous and wanted to find like knickknacks and stuff just like Ursula. But then the girl, I can't remember her name, she wanted to like, she was just mean and bitchy and just wanted to like bring her down. And that wasn't an Ariel kind of portrayal. So I was just confused.
Yeah. And then like, she literally just like gets impregnated by the thing and then dies. Like, it's not, it wasn't an entertaining story is all I'm saying. Like this plot line was put in and it was just like, okay, I guess, sure. What?
Yeah.
I was confused.
Yeah. So what about that? Like about also I want to just bring this up like about infertility and saying women are like broken because they can't have children.
Yeah.
Like what are your thoughts on that?
Unhealthy message. That's a really damaging message. That's just not
I thought we were gonna it was going and I thought we were gonna get some character development on the girl who is infertile, and then that didn't happen at all.
Not at all.
Yeah.
And she ties into like that typical like mean girl trope for no reason. Like girl hate for no reason.
Because she's like, haha, like I'm the one who's the most fertile mermaid they've ever seen, and you who has been like bullying me all this time, like your life's gonna suck in this society. Haha. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I also hated the one thing that I did find a gripe with, especially in that first part, because for the most part I really liked the first part, but I really found it annoying how much she gives a shit about what everyone else is thinking. Like, I would have loved to see this adventurous, different mermaid who's doing everything against the status quo just not care about the mean girl. Like, that's what I wanted to see, and then it's not what happened.
Yeah, because
let's be real here, especially someone coming from my own industry, but in actual real world, a lot of people give a shit at what people think.
I know.
And
me too. But like, it's just nice to see it happen in a character who like maybe needs to grow into it, because like, but like it's a great lesson to teach, even if the character, you know, isn't as realistic as they could be. But like, let's be real, she's a mermaid who turns into a octopus, so like she's not realistic.
Yeah.
And then touching upon the infertility thing as well, like at the beginning she kind of like the whole fertility thing, she didn't buy into that part of her society, but when she does find out that she is like super fertile, then she kind of takes more notice of it. But just the whole, like, this is what Trina discusses in her review, talking about how women who are infertile are described as broken, and it's just not okay.
See,
Yeah.
or is it because
I was gonna say, like, I would have loved to see, because, like, the society's all messed up, right? Like, we're not supposed to be, like, looking at this society that she lives in positively. So, like, I would have loved to see, I liked that we were bringing it up, and then I would have loved to see her break those boundaries rather than, rather than buy into them.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was hoping.
Yeah, I feel the same. Like, I thought the setup of, like, women being reduced to their fertility and, like, you know, the fact, like, what Ursula's mother was talking about how like like, women have been, like, locked in basements and, like, their only purpose in life is to produce offspring. Like, I thought that could have been such an interesting narrative on how there's so much misogyny and sexism in the world. And, like the beginning, like, it felt like Ursula's viewpoint against it about how this is wrong and how she doesn't want this was going somewhere, and then she fed into it. And it was non-existent for a lot of the book. And then in the end, like, everything was broken and everything was fine just because they killed that one leader, which isn't true. So that, like, I thought, like, there's so much of this book that I'm like, conceptually, this would have been so great, but, like, it just didn't come across the way, I don't think it fulfilled its full potential.
Like, there were so many, like, issues, which are fine because, like, it brings in this, like, how we live today, like, how the world is today. But then instead of giving into it, actually, like, fight against it or do something about it or come to a conclusion or do something with it. But it's just like, oh, no, I'm just going to stick with how everything is in our world today. It's just kind of like,
And then it so easily gets fixed at the end, too.
Yeah.
I mean, the ending fixes all of that, right? Because all of a sudden we have a female in power, which is great. But, like, I kind of wanted to see a little bit of, like, not okayness in the girl who's been locked up for however many years.
Yeah, I was going to say, like,
and,
when
like,
you think about her, like,
she's, like, she said she was starved, and, like, they're supposed to get sunlight, and she's been inside of an iceberg this entire time, so, like, she's probably unhealthy in the sense of, like, not getting the nutrients that she needs from both food and the sun. So, like, what? And also, like, PTSD, hello.
Yeah.
So, like, I kind of wanted to see, I, like, would have loved almost to see them, like, save her and have her end up needing, like, help, and then Ursula and potentially the guy that is in love with her, like, ruling, not necessarily as a couple, but, like, helping rule with her, like, all three of them in power and helping. I think that would have been, like, way more of an interesting take on it, I guess. I don't know.
No, I feel the same way. I feel the same exact way. It was wrapped up in a little bow, and there should have been, like, some persisting issue.
Yeah.
But Ursula's happy. Everyone's happy because they don't have that shitty king anymore. Ursula can have legs or a mermaid tail or be an octopus, and it's like everything is perfect.
Exactly. Like, they could have
Except
ended
for Loki. Loki is mad.
Ended it being, like, with a touch of hope, like, things are crap and, like, absolutely everywhere at the moment, nothing's okay, but hopefully we get over the worst of it and we can kind of move on from here. Like, just kind of ending on a different note, even like that would have been nice.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, like, look at all the things we're talking about, like, serious issues in today's world. And how long was this book?
112 pages.
Yeah, it was very short.
Like,
that's the exact number.
So many opportunities for, like, real, like, discussions, even if it's in kind of a more abstract or, like, abstract way, but it just
it was like, okay, let's announce it and then make it fix. Let's announce it and then, like, fix it, and then announce it and, like, fix it. It's just like,
is this Julia Ember's first novel?
I don't think so. I think she has more books.
I don't know.
I checked because it felt like it would have been a debut novel with, like, the issues, inconsistency, and the lack of development. Like, if someone told me if it was a debut novel, like, I wouldn't be surprised because those are things that happen to, like, all writers when they're writing.
Yeah, that was why I was asking. It's because I do like one.
Because I don't.
Another book last year.
Is this maybe, like, her first fantasy or something, though? Like, maybe that's what it is.
It's called Unicorn Tracks, so I'm assuming that's a fantasy as well.
Unicorn's
I'm
Tracks.
trying to give her some benefit of the doubts.
Then she's Duology, The Tiger's Watch, The Shadow Wolf. And then there's her first book was Under the Savannah Stars.
Okay, so I give up.
Under the Savannah.
I think
Contract
like her first like publicized thing
Yeah.
was like her first book has 1 rating on Goodreads.
Oh,
Her next 2 books, the first book in the series has 76.
And that's
and the
out yet.
second one isn't out yet. I don't think that one is out
No.
yet. So that one comes before.
Oh.
Yeah, that one comes out in like a handful of days. So like she wrote The Seafarer's Kiss after that. So I think this is her 3rd book, technically, because Unicorn Tracks is another fantasy novel.
got it.
Which is also 180 pages.
Oh, she writes such short books.
Yeah. But I don't
mean,
know.
great for a read-a-thon though.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. Actually, The Tiger's Watch is also 180 pages.
Oh my gosh, she writes such short books.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like I feel like this is her first. Sorry. Go ahead, Emma. What did Christina from Proud Book Lion say here? I saw
On Twitter, she was talking about us being a read-a-thon in January.
No, on the live chat.
Oh,
She
she
was saying
said,
Loki wouldn't usually let off, like in most of the stories, wouldn't let her off that easy.
Mhm.
Oh,
And also, yeah. And then we
Right.
need more good characters, but Tricks to God might not have been the best choice. So
yeah.
Is Loki the guy that's from the Marvel? Like, why?
Well, okay, so Marvel took 2 gods that are from what?
Greek mythology.
Nope.
Norse.
Norse mythology.
Norse. Yeah.
Thor and Loki. Thor is the god of war. He's
And they're brothers.
Yeah, and Thor is the main god of Norse mythology, like Zeus is of Greek mythology. Like he's the guy, he's the main one. And then there's Loki. Loki is like he's the trickster god. So like most people do not follow Loki, which they do talk about in the book. Like I think the times that we talked about Norse mythology in the book, she did a good job of like explaining Norse mythology. Because like Loki is kind of like he's one of those gods. He's kind of like I don't know, like Hades almost, but like Hades is more evil, I guess. But like no one would pray to Loki because they know that if you pray to Loki, you'll have problems.
Right.
And
See,
Marvel just kind of
so
took them
much-
and put them into Marvel Universe. I don't know why that happened.
Well, I feel like Julia Ember, like, she knows these backstories and they're so interesting and like
yes, Odin.
this makes such a really cool like combination of characters and like I wish I kind of knew that like going forward with this book. I don't know. I love it. I think 4 out of 5 stars was great, but like those little pieces, like I feel like as she writes more, I think she can do wonders. Like I think she'll write
Yeah, I
some
feel the
amazing.
same way.
Yeah, like she has such amazing ideas. I just want to see them expanded more, which I think maybe like I feel like if she is required to write a longer book, then I like if she's just required to hit more words, then I think she could do it. Like maybe she started out in short stories and so she's comfortable writing in short and so she's trying to do the novels and it's just like not getting there yet. I don't know, because short stories and novels are completely different things, like how you write them and stuff. So it makes sense in a short story why things aren't fleshed out because you only write maybe 100 pages.
Yeah.
What I want to talk about some of the positive things that we liked before we go.
Yeah.
I want to end on a positive note.
Yeah, I
So
feel like
what was your
sometimes
favorite thing?
critiques are like, I feel like we all have like really set ideas on our critiques, and that's why we have so much to talk about it. But I think overall, like, we just enjoyed the read. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like sometimes, like with books like this, there's not always so much you can say that you liked about it. You just liked it. Like, it was just fun and enjoyable, and like certain parts of it were fun. It's just like when you have like certain negative aspects in your head, you like really go through them. So like, I think although we've been mostly critiquing it, like I don't think that like that
It
invalidates.
was still so enjoyable.
Yeah,
And it still was light and cute and fun and fast. Like, it was a fast read. I read it in, I think, less than a day, which was great for the read-a-thon.
Yeah.
And as well, the fact that we actually wanted to see more also speaks for the fact that we did still enjoy it. Like, we wanted there to be more, because what we did see was good, but it just could have been a little bit better with more.
Yeah. And if you guys like know, like if you watch it, I've been on most of the live shows. Like, I'm not an easy rater. Like, so
you're not.
Let's just be real. And I rated this a 4 out of 5 stars. And that, like, to me, it says a lot. Like, I'm an average, like, 2.53 star rater. And when I say 4 stars, like, I think that says a lot, to be honest. And I thought it was just fun. I saw it as a Little Mermaid retelling. I was super engaged. I read it so quickly, and I'm a slow reader. And when that Ursula thing happened, I was like, I have to tweet Kassie and everyone that was fucking reading it. And, like, I just really enjoyed it. It just kind of, at the second half, it just kind of got a little disgruntled for me. But in the most part, I really, really enjoy it. It's probably my favorite Little Mermaid retelling. Although, have I read another Little Mermaid retelling? No.
That's a good question. Maybe that's what needs to come out of this. We need more Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
We need more mermaid books.
Great job. I think she did a really, really, really great job.
Okay, so I want to talk about a specific thing, because you guys already talked about all the same things that I would talk about if I was just doing general things, which is, like, it was great, and, like, I did really like her, like, underwater stuff, like, in general and stuff like that. I liked all that. But my absolute favorite thing in the entire book were the whales. They were great.
I was gonna say
so cute.
They were so cute. I loved them. I loved every single one of them. I loved the part where Ragna is teaching them how to sing, and the one who can't sing.
Yes, that was so cute.
they're so cute. Were they belugas?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can I just say this? When I was in grade 6, I wrote a report on beluga whales.
Aww.
I loved them when I was a kid, and so when I read them, I was like, "Oh, it's like my child."
Yes, I love them, and I loved the part where when like she first goes back to Ragna, I think, like in the very, very beginning, Ragna has the spear, and she's like trying to get one, and they're all really scared, and they need air, and then the mermaid just like pops out of the ocean, and she's like, no. Cute.
Yeah.
So that's how I have.
Yeah. Wait, what did everyone rate this again? Is everyone 4 stars or set? Emma, you're
And I think Kaz also gave 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I don't know what
Kelly,
Kelly or Red gave.
I think
Yeah, I
Kelly gave it a 4. I think.
Okay.
I think.
Did
Did
Red
Red finish it?
I don't think she has finished.
I
it.
don't think.
I think she was trying to for the live show, but she couldn't.
And Momo didn't either.
Mhm.
I don't think. No.
Proud Book Lion. That's Christina, right?
Yeah.
She asked, random question, have you guys ever seen whales in real life? I saw in Iceland and it was so cool.
No, I've only seen videos.
I've seen whales in real life. I've seen dolphins in real life.
I'm supposed to go on. I'm leaving at the end of the month to the island. So I live in Canada. I'm the only Canadian here. But I am going on to the island, and we're going to go on a whale tour. Hopefully, we may do that. So I may see it at the end of the month.
I went whale watching once, and we didn't see a single whale on it.
Oh, really?
But I've been on like a bunch of boats that have seen dolphins on accident. And like one time I was in like 4th grade or something. 4th grade, my teacher was obsessed with the ocean, so we did an ocean musical that she wrote herself because she was so old.
God.
And we did it, and I was a tuna, and the main character was a shark who tried to eat me the entire show. He ate me at the end, just so you know.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God.
I know, how dark for a 4th grader show.
That is a little bit dark.
Yeah, and then we went on this like, I don't even know, it wasn't a whale watching boat, but like we went on a boat, and like we went over first to like the tide pools, and then we got on the boat and like went to the bay area and like saw barnacles, and then we went on the boat out into the ocean, and we were looking at like the way that the seaweed, you can like see it at a certain point and then all of a sudden it goes away. And then we were talking about like, oh, we're this far away from the water. And we were talking about how deep the ocean gets and like what kind of animals live there. And all of a sudden a pod of dolphins came up and were following and like playing in the water as we were leaving.
So cute.
Well, that's kind of what happened like last Bibliothon. Remember I got that impromptu sailing trip I went on? So I went on the sailing trip on the Florida Keys, and then there were dolphins constantly like at the front of our ship. We had like a 3-mast schooner, if you know what sailing boat. And during that trip, I was reading Passenger. Thanks, Kassie, for sending me that.
You're welcome.
So it was pretty cool. But other than that, but like I've never seen whales, but like dolphins many times and stuff like that, but never like whales. Like, I'm scared if I like fall in the ocean, a blue whale's gonna come and they're gonna open their mouths and I'm gonna like go inside of it.
Blue whales don't eat people. They eat krill.
Like, it may not know I'm there. And then
it won't spit you out. It won't be able to swallow you. I mean, it could swallow you like physically, but like it wouldn't want to.
It spit me back out.
Yeah.
Would you survive all that though?
We're not talking about that part. We should announce our next book.
Yes.
Do you have it? Emma has it.
Emma.
We are reading Moxie by Jennifer Matu, and it is so amazing.
Can you tell us what it's about?
Yes, I can. I actually have a review filmed on my channel that I'm hopefully uploading soon, and it's spoiler-free, so y'all can watch it. Essentially, Moxie takes place in a super small Texas town where our main character, Viv, is fed up with the sexism in her school. The football players hold so much influence over the school. The principal of the school is the father of one of the star players on the football team. So they have so much influence on the runnings of the school. They get away with anything, all this sexist crap they say and do. And Viv's mom was a riot girl in the 90s, which was a huge feminist movement. And Viv is very inspired by her mother's past to start a feminist zine that she starts anonymously giving out in the bathroom of her school. And it is all about the girls of the school banding together, like taking part in these little movements to say, like, we're not standing for this anymore. Like, you can't treat us like this just because of our gender. And it is all about this, like, insane feminist revolution going on in a small Texas town. And it is so freaking good. I'll show you one of the, this is, like, a photo of one of the zines. They have, like, the scans of the zines. And it's just, like, so cute and inspiring. It made me laugh. It made me cry. I'm so excited to discuss it with you guys. So,
Emma, because you just showed, like, those pictures and stuff, do you recommend the physical copy? Because you just showed, like, really cool.
I would assume that the ebook would also have them because it's, like, a part of the text. I don't know if there's an audiobook, because sometimes there's not an audiobook immediately. If there is one, I would probably recommend it just because I think the zines were so cute. They're very, like, decade inspired. Like, there are pictures that, like, feel like the 50s, or ones that feel like the 80s, the 90s. It's really cute. I'm actually meeting Jennifer Matu next month, and I'm so freaking excited to talk about it.
And that book comes out?
I believe it's September 19th. Okay. Is it? Let me...
So technically our live show is August, September, October, so we'll probably do a live show end of October, beginning of December.
That's not the next month.
You mean October or November? Yeah.
November.
Yeah. So I think you'll definitely have enough time to read it. We'll fly through it. I promise. It's so freaking good. It's one of my favorites of the year.
I'm excited.
All right, I'll take any excuse to talk about Moxie because nobody else has it.
I guess we'll be talking end of November then, is that correct?
Nope, end of October.
Well, we end up doing it
end of October.
Like, this was the July.
Yeah, we end up.
So we'll probably do it end of October or November. We'll see.
Yeah. All right. With that, unless there aren't any last minute questions that I saw. So are we good?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll see you guys later. Bye.
should we say we'll see you? Oh wait, no. I was gonna say January is our next Bibliothon.
I'm
Usually,
gonna see them in the live
So
show.
we'll see them before that.
yeah, we'll see you at the live show before that. Fail.
Yeah.
Love y'all.
Bye.